Okay then guys, what is going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are here in Outriders and we have got the Technomancer stacking out an absolutely disgusting turret build that is going to cause millions upon millions of damage, and as you can see by the gameplay, the boss doesn't really cope too well against it. That's right, Gregor is going to be in for a shock when you turn up with this bad boy. So today we're going to show you guys exactly what this is, how it works, and what you can do to utilize this a little bit better. This is a 1.0 version of this because I know full well there are some mods on the third slots of APOC gear that I definitely need to get my hands on to make this a bit better. So expect a 2.0 at a later date for this build. With that being said, let's crack on to the Techno. So as normal, we are going to be breaking this down into weapon sorts, armor sorts, skills, then class points. So without any further ado, if you haven't already, slap that like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on, and let's jump in to the Technomancer cryo turret build. Next, we have got the main weapon. And now this is all irrelevant to me personally. I literally just use the messenger. Now I have got a god roll version of this, so it's not likely that you are going to get this roll. It is a very, very rare find, with Omen being the third slot, which means that I've got potential to move into an FP build at a later date if I want to. But with this one, the one you want to focus on is an assault rifle tactical variant with Mage's Rage. Mage's Rage is the main key feature for this, as it does have a 10% boost into anomaly bonus for 15 seconds, and it stacks up to 4 times. Now that is the biggest one that you want to focus on for this weapon. As you can tell, for this build, we are focusing solely around anomaly power. It's going to be the biggest damage bonus that you guys have seen, with multipliers coming out of your rear end. On top of this, if you can get this roll with Omen on the end of it, you will also inflict bleed, which deals 500,000 damage and applies a status, which increases the damage received by 10% for 3 seconds. Very good roll indeed, and if you get it, good luck with it. Anywho, from there, we're going into armor sets. Now, I'm going to try and be brief with this, as I don't want the video to be absolutely ridiculously long. So we're going to go through the main 2 mods and not the third one. We will have the third one shown on this here, but other than that, we are going to be focusing on the main 2 ones, mainly because this build is a 1.0 version and I haven't got all of the third mod slots for the Techmonger set that I really want to. Now, like I just stated, this is a Techmonger build. You will have to have a 3-piece Techmonger, and this is going to utilize the turret skills, increasing turret damage by 10%, and the bonus lasts for 10 seconds and stacks up to 5 times. Now, this is going to be extremely huge, mainly because what you're going to keep doing is refreshing your pest turret, aka the toxic turret, and that is what is going to keep refreshing your boost upon this extra 10% damage. But for the Techmonger mask, you want Double Trouble and Twins. So Double Trouble will deploy an enhanced turret with 2 barrels instead of 1, and Twins will give you guys 2 turrets in the cryo turret, essentially meaning you have just quadrupled the amount of bullets that are going to be going towards the enemy in one go. Next up, when we go on to the Techmonger's vest, we have got hazardous modifications and increased damage. Now, hazardous modifications, the turret now fires toxic infused projectiles, dealing 35,000 damage more, and has a 50% increase in attack range. This is really, really big, as a lot of damage comes from these projectiles rather than it just being the generic blighted turret spray. You really need to make sure the hazardous modifications is on there, because that is going to be one of your higher damage outputs for this. Next up, you've got the increased damage for the cryo turret, where every turret's shots deal an extra 17,900 damage, which again is absolutely huge, just boosting the damage on the quadrupled amount of bullets coming from the cryo turret. When we go on to the Techmonger's leg armor, though, we've got improved coolant and freezing boost. Now, improved coolant is for the cryo turret, and it doubles the fire rate. Essentially, I don't even know what the word is, but we're going to double it up again. So it's going to give you guys twice the amount of bullets on the quadrupled amount of bullets that you're now firing, meaning that you have got a overload of cryo turret bullets coming out. And on top of that, we've got freezing boost, where the boosts the damage against enemies afflicted by freeze by 8%, which, considering you've got so many cryo turret bullets going around, it is freaking ridiculous. So on top of that, we've got arms and anomaly. Now this is really, really important, because the arms and anomaly is probably one of the key features to this build when it comes to the damage output, as critical shots increase your anomaly power by 142,890 for 6 seconds. Now, like I stated, this is focused solely around anomaly power, so you want to be gaining as much anomaly power as you possibly can. This is going to be really important, so even if you've not got the Techmonger gloves, you want to make sure that you are utilizing this mod right here. On top of that, we've got radical Lethal Therapy, which deals 8% more damage against enemies afflicted by Toxic, which, because we've got the Pest turret, is going to be a lot of people. And for me, personal space used quite well. Now, grants a 12% bonus to close range weapon damage. Now, if you utilize this build properly, you can put the turrets up around you and things will come towards you, essentially shooting them as they get closer. And as they get closer, you gain a bigger bonus in damage because you've got the close range weapon damage. Not really the Technomancer style, but it is something that has worked quite well for me personally. Then we go on to the boots, which I am using the boots of Flame Leaper. Not really the ones I want to be using, but they do have some very good mods on them. We've got a third tier, which is the Untamed Power. Now, this uses 99,000 damage to enemies within a 5-meter radius around you. And this is equal to 30% of your Anomaly Power, which, because of the way the build is pretty damn freaking high. Then the ones we want to focus on are Shatter and Toxic Piercer. Shatter deals 16% more damage against enemies afflicted by freeze, and Toxic Piercer is the effectiveness of Toxic is increased by 15. So everything we've got on our person is going to be revolted around Toxic, Freeze, and Anomaly. They are your key features to everything inside of this build. Now we've got through the armor and the weapons, we're going to be moving on to the skills, which, as you could probably guess, we have got Blighted Turret, Cold Snap, and Cryo Turret, revolving all of everything around freeze and toxicity. We've got the Cold Snap to freeze everybody as they get a bit too close. The current Cryo Turret is going to be causing an absolute shed ton of damage and freezing enemies quite frequently, especially with elites. It's quite important, just because if you've got 2 of those Cryo Turrets shooting at one elite, he's not moving for nothing. So those of you guys who are struggling with those bloody Corsairs, this is probably one of the better builds for you. And the Blighted Turret has obviously got the projectile toxic rounds, so we'll move on from there. And next up, we have got the class tree. Now, the class tree is a very interesting one. This one is one which will, again, revolve around freeze, toxicity, and health primarily. So we have got a lot of moves for this, such as the decaying increases your anomaly power. So every time you put down your cryo turret, toxicity turret, the pest turret is going to give you guys an anomaly boost. And this is pretty damn helpful as we're focusing on anomaly, like we've stated 100 times so far. Enemies below 30% health will receive 20% more damage, which again is always amazing. Now, because we're using a lot of Toxic, we've also managed to utilize Exposing Toxin, which every time the Toxic is afflicted on an enemy, vulnerable status is also afflicted as well. So now we've got four different affinities on them. We've got the Cryo Freeze, we have got the Toxicity, we have got Vulnerability, and we have got Bleed. This is huge. These moves are 4 statuses which will cause damage all in simultaneously. Then as we go through here, we've got a lot of healable mods and a lot of mods that are going to give you guys a lot of like longer health, and afflicted people with freeze will last 20% longer and stuff like that, increasing your weapon leech. And we have got this one right here, which increases all healing by 20% for you and your allies. And activating gadget skills increases your anomaly power again by 40% for 10 seconds. Upon losing health, you will receive a second chance to return to the battlefield 50% of your max health, and the effect may occur once every 180 seconds. One of the biggest things inside of this, for me personally, you've got a massive 40% anomaly buff, and you essentially get a second life over. This is very important. Although it looks really, really ship-shapey and really weird, this works tenfold. You are essentially a tank with turrets. It is the laziest Technomancer you will ever see in your life. But as we go through to the PAX points, again, we're going to be playing the Desolator build, and this is something which a lot of you guys may already be using. But we have got the Initial Striker for anomaly power boosting. We have got the Lethal Devices for a anomaly power boosting with the toxicity. We have got Painkiller, which again is a health regeneration mod. We have got Permanence, which inflicts toxic, can be that the 100% chance of afflicted a random additional status, so we can have up to 5 statuses on that one thing you are shooting at. Mental. And then we've got Dissection, where you deal 5% more damage to enemies that are inflicted for every status afflicted on them. Now, if we've got 5 on there, that is 25% extra damage, which is just beyond belief. But anywho, we're going to go from the PAX points and into the Ascension points. Now, the Ascension points will obviously be all dependent on your level, so take this as you wish. Your main focus is right at the beginning is going to be the anomaly section. Obviously, we are focusing on anomaly for this build. So you are going going to want to have anomaly power, status power, and anomaly damage. They're going to be your main focuses. Now, once you have focused on those, I would recommend putting to damage against elites, just because obviously you always want that extra damage output. I would also recommend armor piercing, just because the armor piercing really does help with the cryo turret build and with you hitting those crits. On top of that as well, probably the long range damage would be pretty damn useful for me personally. But that is that. I don't want to drag this video out any longer, but this is a build which you guys will be able to see on screen is absolutely freaking mental and something that you need to be pushing in for. If you haven't already, make sure you're smashing the beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. I appreciate all of you guys for all of the love on the channel just recently. The Outriders content has been booming. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, slap the like, subscribe, appreciate your faces, and I'll see you in the clouds.